Ghaziabad with two leadership. I now invite the Hon'ble Minister towards the garden area for tree plantation. This symbolic act of planting is a tribute to nature and reflects our shared commitment to the values of ecological balance. Thus, it marks a green beginning for this new edifice. पारिजात का वृक्ष समुद्र मंथन के दौरान उत्पन्न हुआ था और इसे भारतीय संस्कृति में पवित्रता और सौंदर्य का प्रतीक माना जाता है। वास्तुशास्त्र के अनुसार पारिजात का पौधा सकारात्मक ऊर्जा को आकर्षित करता है। अब मैं अनुरोध करती हूँ माननीय चेयरपर्सन CBIC से कि वह भी वृक्षारोपण करें। हम कामना करते हैं कि ये पौधे उसी तरह फलते फूलते रहें जैसे कि ये संस्थान उद्देश्य में दृढ़ और भविष्य की ओर अग्रसर है। Ladies and gentlemen, we now move to the unveiling of the commemorative plaque that marks the formal inauguration of this landmark building. May I respectfully invite the Honorable Finance Minister. A gesture that officially opens the door of this institution of progress and public service. I request the Honorable Minister to kindly speak towards the gate. Thank you, ma'am. We may now proceed for the ribbon cutting ceremony, a gesture that officially opens the doors of this institution to progress and public service. I request the Honourable Minister to cut the ribbon and declare the building open. Thank you. As the ribbon falls, we wish the space flush with innovation and improvement, guided by the aspirations of a brighter future. We now proceed to the puja ceremony.
Systems so that there is no
आज हम एक नए भवन का उद्घाटन इस ऐतिहासिक अवसर पर अत्यंत शुभ परंपरा से शुरुआत करने जा रहे हैं। भगवान गणेश की पूजा। किसी भी नए कार्य की शुरुआत से पहले भगवान गणेश का आह्वान किया जाता है, जो विघ्नों का नाश करते हैं और सफलता का मार्ग प्रशस्त करते हैं। आइए हम सब मिलकर भगवान गणेश का आशीर्वाद प्राप्त करें और इस भवन के उद्घाटन को एक पवित्र आरंभ प्रदान
गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदान शृण्वन्नोदविस्सेनं गौरीर्विमाय सलिलानितक्षत्रेकपदेन द्विपदेशाचतुष्पदे अष्टापदे नवपदे बहुपदे सहस्राक्षरा परमेभ्यो तत्त्वायामि ब्रह्मणा वन्दमानस्तदाशास्ते यजमानो हविर्भिः अहेनमानो वरुणेह बोध्युर्जुगुं समानायुक्रमोषि भगवते गणेशाम्बिकाभ्यां नमः। भगवते वास्तुपुरुषाय नमः। गन्धर्वागणो स्वामिन्द्र स्वां बृहस्पतिः त्वामोखदे सोमो राजा विद्वान् यक्ष्मादमुच्यता अक्षण्णमी मदन्तह्यवप्रिया अधूकथा स्तोखस्वभानवो विभ्राणविषयामहीजो विन्दते हरि ओखधीः रयमोध्वं भुवदेः प्रसोवरेः अस्वा इव सद्वरिद्विरुधः वैष्णवः पूर्वस्वा भगवते वास्तुपुरुषाय नमः। भगवते गणपतये नमः। अम्बिकायै नमः। धूपं दीपं च दर्शयामि। ॐ माधुरसि धूर्ध्वधूर्वन्तं धूर्ध्वदं जोस्मान् धूर्ध्वदिदं धूर्ध्वयम् चन्द्रमा मनसो जातस्मिक्षोः सूर्यो अजायथा वास्तुपुरुषाय नमः। स्थापनैवेद्यं निवेदयामि। ॐ मा अन्नपदेन्नस्यानो देव्यानामि वस्यास्मिनः प्रप्रदादाविन्तारिह ऊर्जन्नो देहि द्विपदे चतुर्पदे नैवेद्यं निवेदयामि। नैवेद्यो पुष्पाणि आच्छाद्य ग्रासमुद्रां प्रदर्शयेत्। प्राणाय स्वाहा व्यानाय स्वाहा पानाय स्वाहा उदानाय स्वाहा समानाय स्वाहा ब्रह्मणे नमः। मध्ये मध्यास्मिं जलं समर्पयामि। उत्तरापोषणार्थे मुखप्रक्षालनार्थे जलं समर्पयामि। आराधिक्यम् इदक्कुं हवेः प्रजानां मे अस्तुदास्मवे रक्कुं सुप्पदानं सुपस्ताये आत्मसानि राजासानि पुष्पैः देवताभिवन्दनं देवताभ्याम् आत्मवन्दनम् ॐ नमः पार्वतीपते हर हर महादेव।
First line, that's it. First.
तुम्हारे साथ ही रहेंगे मतलब पूरी नाइट भाई का बना हुआ था सेकेंड पानी में जाएगी स्वीट्स देंगे थोड़ी बहुत हाँ हाँ बोलो बोलो इसका हॉल फुल है, मीडिया की जगह है और मीडिया के लिए और जगह है हॉल में कि हॉल फुल है?
Coordinating Finance Minister of India, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, whose leadership has been instrumental in guiding our organization towards excellence. We also have on the dais Chairman CBIC, Shri Sanjay Agarwal, Member Custom CBIC, Shri Surjit Bhujbal, Member Admin and Vigilance, Srimati Aruna Narayan Gupta, and Chief Commissioner Meerut Zone, Sri Sanjay Mangal. We also welcome the esteemed members of departments, officials from district administration, CGST counterparts, gratitude towards the chief guest of the day, I now invite the Chairman CBIC, Shri Sanjay Kumar Agarwal, to present a sapling and memento to the Honorable Finance Minister. I would now invite Chairman CBIC, Shri Sanjay Kumar Agarwal, to present the welcome address.
Hon'ble Union Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs, Shrimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, members of the board, colleagues from CBIC, officials from the state government, members of trade and industry associations, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. It is an immense pleasure to welcome you all to this memorable occasion as we witness the inauguration of the CGST Ghaziabad by Honorable Finance Minister. This occasion marks not just the unveiling of a new building, but the opening of a new chapter in our journey of citizen-centric governance and sustainable administration. Ladies and gentlemen, as we look back on 8 years of GST implementation, we see how this transformative reform has become a powerful engine of India's economic growth. GST has not only simplified the indirect tax structure, but has also unified the nation into a single market, fostering competitiveness and compliance. The robust growth of GST collections over the years reflects both buoyancy in the economy and increasing faith of taxpayers in a fair and transparent system. This Navratri begin on a historic note as the nation welcomed the next generation GST reforms. Marking the occasion, the Honorable Prime Minister announced the commencement of GST Bachat Utsav, bringing the spirit of savings and easing the lives of the poor, middle class, farmers, women, students and youth by making essential items more affordable. These path-breaking changes are expected to accelerate India's growth story and strengthen self-reliance. In this context, the GST Bhavan Ghaziabad stands as a shining example of modern workspaces where taxpayers feel welcomed and officers feel equipped and supported to facilitate them with efficiency and empathy. This journey began with land acquisition in 2016 and gained momentum with the foundation stone laid in 2021. Today we see before us a state-of-the-art complex built at a cost of rupees 116 crores, spread over 14,000 square meters with 2 basements and 7 floors above ground. This Bhavan is more than a workplace as it symbolizes efficiency, innovation and care. With modern features such as high-speed elevators, advanced fire safety systems, comprehensive CCTV surveillance, and fully integrated LAN and Wi-Fi connectivity. The building reflects our move towards a digital, secure, and modern work environment. It also embodies our deep commitment to sustainability with a rooftop solar power plant, rainwater harvesting, a sewage treatment plant, solid waste composting, and energy efficient lighting. The building has rightly earned a 5-star GREHA rating and the 2024 GREHA Exemplary Performance Award for Passive Architecture. Every design choice, from its ample natural sunlight orientation to the landscape green surroundings, reflects our belief that governance and sustainability must walk hand in hand. Beyond its structural excellence, this building shows our care for our people, with a creche for working parents, a gymnasium, a yoga room for health and wellness, Divyang-friendly facilities, and a modern library and conference hall. It supports both the professional and personal well-being of our officers. Its auditorium with taxpayer facilitation center will serve as vibrant spaces for interaction with industry and citizens, reinforcing our commitment to transparency, outreach, and service with a human touch. On this occasion, I would also like to highlight certain outreach measures the CGST Meerut Zone has taken. With the recently announced GST Next Gen reforms, the Meerut Zone proactively engaged with the stakeholders. A series of outreach programs were organized across the zones. In Meerut, Dehradun, Noida, Budaun, Bareilly, and Bulandshahr, bringing together representatives of trade associations, tax professionals, and MSMEs. These sessions were not just about explaining reforms, they were about listening, clarifying, and partnering with the taxpayer community. Officers of the zone took the message of GST2 directly to the ground, ensuring that the benefits of rate rationalization and ease of doing business measures reached the smallest enterprise and the last consumer. Media interactions with webinars further extended this reach. Such outreach strengthens the very foundations of GST, trust, transparency, and teamwork between the administration and the taxpayers. On behalf of the entire CBIC family, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to our Honorable Finance Minister for her constant guidance and encouragement. Under the visionary leadership of the Honorable Finance Minister, 11 major CBIC construction projects comprising both office and residential facilities worth over rupees 1,300 crores have been sanctioned in last 3 financial years. Madam, your consistent encouragement for major infrastructure projects like Nasan Palasamudram, Vadala complex in Mumbai, and the integrated facilities in Hyderabad and Shillong has been a source of constant motivation for us to deliver better. We are deeply thankful to you, ma'am, for accelerating the pace of modernization of our departmental infrastructure, and the capacity building of our officers. As I conclude, I extend my congratulations to the Ghaziabad Commissionerate, whose officers are brimming with positive energy and preparedness to take over this impressive new complex. As this Bhavan is dedicated to the people, it opens new possibilities, for better taxpayer facilitation, for enhanced efficiency, and for deeper connection with the citizens we serve. Let this Bhavan be our pledge to keep walking that path of service for our people and for our nation. I once again thank all present for being part of this proud movement in the journey of CBIC. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. The CGST Bhavan is lauded with prestigious green building awards and stands as a testament to innovation, vision, and excellence. It serves as a symbol of taxpayer-centric service, a significant milestone in infrastructure development. To have a closer look, we will now go through a special presentation taking us through this remarkable structure of CGST Bhavan Ghaziabad.
अमृतकाल के इस दौर में राष्ट्रीय प्रगति के महापर्व की नींव राजस्व संग्रहण की शक्ति पर आधारित है और जीएसटी इस व्यवस्था में एक ऐतिहासिक और क्रांतिकारी सुधार रहा। माननीय वित्त मंत्री श्रीमती निर्मला सीतारमण के नेतृत्व में सीबीआईसी संपूर्ण प्रतिबद्धता के साथ जीएसटी संचयन और करदाता सेवा की दिशा में निरंतर सुधार करता रहा है और इसी भावना का साकार प्रतिरूप है सीजीएसटी भवन गाजियाबाद का यह नवनिर्मित परिसर। इस परिसर की यात्रा 2016 में भूमि अधिग्रहण से शुरू हुई। 2021 में भूमि पूजन के बाद अथक परिश्रम के परिणाम स्वरूप ये भवन आज राष्ट्र सेवा के लिए तैयार है। अत्याधुनिक सुविधाओं से लैस इस परिसर में 2 बेसमेंट, 1 ग्राउंड फ्लोर, 7 ऊपरी मंजिलें हैं। भवन में कई अत्याधुनिक एवं अभूतपूर्व सुविधाओं का विन्यास किया गया है। आर्थिक हितधारकों में क्षमता निर्माण के लिए इस भवन में विविध सुविधाओं से लैस करदाता सुविधा केंद्र और जीएसटी सेवा केंद्र का निर्माण किया गया है। इन केंद्रों में समर्पित अधिकारियों द्वारा न केवल पंजीकृत व्यापारियों की सहायता की जाएगी, बल्कि पंजीकरण के आकांक्षी व्यापारियों को भी हर संभव सहयोग दिया जाएगा। परिसर में एक सेल्फ लर्निंग डिजिटल कियोस्क जीएसटी सारथी को भी लगाया गया है। इसके माध्यम से पंजीकरण, रिफंड, एमएसएमई क्षेत्र के लिए विशेष प्रयास आदि के संबंध में करदाता स्वयं सूचना प्राप्त कर सकेंगे। परिसर में जगह जगह करदाताओं के लिए सुविधापूर्ण प्रतीक्षा दीर्घाओं की भी संकल्पना की गई है। जीएसटी गाजियाबाद कर व्यवस्था में हितधारकों के सम्मान के लिए समर्पित है और इसी समर्पण का प्रतीक है परिसर में बार और ट्रेड के प्रतिनिधियों के लिए समर्पित कक्ष, जो रचनात्मक संवाद और मंथन को मंच प्रदान करेगा। पूरे परिसर में कई डिजिटल कियोस्क की स्थापना की गई है, जिनके माध्यम से समय समय पर करदाता उपयोगी सूचनाओं को स्थायी रूप में प्रचारित किया जा सकेगा। आर्थिक हितधारकों से संवाद की कड़डी में परिसर में मौजूद अत्याधुनिक सभागार और सम्मेलन कक्ष समय समय पर ऐसे कार्यक्रमों का मंच सिद्ध होगा जो संवाद की इस लोकोन्मुखी संस्कृति को और मजबूती देंगे। इस परिसर में सुरक्षा निगरानी कक्ष, पुस्तकालय, व्यायामशाला, फर्स्ट एड कक्ष, विश्राम कक्ष एवं शिशु गृह की सुविधाएं मौजूद हैं। सस्टेनेबिलिटी के मानकों के अनुपालन की दिशा में भी इस परिसर को जीरिहा 5 स्टार रेटिंग मानदंडों के अनुरूप बनाया गया है। ये परिसर एक सेल्फ सस्टेनेबल और इको फ्रेंडली भवन है। ठोस अपशिष्ट प्रबंधन प्रणाली, वेस्ट टू पेंसिल संयंत्र, सौर ऊर्जा संयंत्र और जल संरक्षण प्रणालियों जैसी विशेषताओं से लैस इस परिसर को वर्ष 2024 में पैसिव आर्किटेक्चर डिजाइन के लिए इसे गृहा परिषद से पुरस्कृत भी किया गया। परिसर के सौंदर्यीकरण की दिशा में भी दीवारों पर तमाम भारतीय लोक कलाओं को प्रदर्शित किया गया है। अपनी संपूर्णता में सीजीएसटी भवन गाजियाबाद टैक्स कलेक्शन और टैक्स पेयर फैसिलिटेशन के सरलीकरण का प्रतीक है, नवाचार का प्रतीक है। टैक्स पेयर फ्रेंडली गवर्नेंस में भविष्योन्मुखी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के उत्कर्ष का प्रतीक है। ये परिसर कौशल विकास के प्रति सरकार की प्रतिबद्धता को प्रदर्शित करता है और हम सभी को कर्तव्य काल में विकसित भारत 2047 के संकल्प में योगदान देने के लिए प्रेरित करता है।
It is now time to hear from our chief guest. It is my honor to introduce a distinguished leader, economist, and policymaker, the Honorable Finance and Corporate Affairs Minister of India, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman. It is under her leadership that India is witnessing a significant economic reform. Madam, please.
Namaskar and good morning, Chairman, members of the board, all officers, invited guests and also the media. It's actually a pleasure to join you today for the inauguration of this new CGST Bhavan in Ghaziabad. First, let me congratulate the CPWD, engineers and also the Shramjeevis who have contributed in getting this building up and today ready for inauguration. The project, of course, as was described by the chairman, stands as a testament to our commitment to providing world-class work environment for our officers. So, if the taxation can become next generation, we can also have office complexes which are next generation for our officers to efficiently perform their duties. I'll not repeat the features of this building, which has been very eloquently mentioned by the chairman. Of course, open tech-enabled flows, quicken collaboration, and also quiet zones, which for a good working environment officers need to focus on their work. I would think the highlights. But it is important also to recognize that repeatedly I'm seeing in most of the new office complexes which the CBIC and the CBDT build are very keenly building in them taxpayers' facilities. That is the most critical thing, because however much technology has spread, there are always times when you want person-to-person interaction, and taxpayer need that comfort to come and be able to discuss issues which need some clarification. So every such bhavan which is built for the CGST, I notice has a GST Seva Kendra. It also has taxpayers lounge and has, as was described earlier, in every nook and corner where access is good, interactive digital displays. So these are actually points on which stakeholders' engagements become a lot more meaningful, and taxpayers feel that it's a welcoming environment and they would be happy to have engagements with the officers. I like to say here a bit on the next generation GST reforms. As you know, the CBIC put in a lot of hard work. I take this opportunity to thank the chairman, board members and also the field formations for the very focused hard work done over the last 1 year for actually getting the next generation GST implemented. So, and the invitation or the call given by the Prime Minister on the Independence Day from Red Fort was just at the right time, when I think we were coming close to concluding all the discussions and repeatedly going back to do better homework, the drawing boards on inputs which have come over the several iterations that we've had. And although the Honorable Prime Minister had given us Deepavali as the deadline, we could finish it well before and introduce it with the due process followed in the GST Council. And obtaining GST Council's clearance, we were able to launch it even from the first day of Navaratri, which I think shows how focused, efficient, and keeping the outcome in mind, the entire CBIC and the field formations have worked. You've actually worked as a brilliant big team and delivered on delivered on what the Prime Minister had requested us to do, only for the entire country to see that between 22nd of September and Deepavali, the euphoric increase in the transactions, buying and selling that has happened. So your 1 year long, acute, 3-month long work as a large team to deliver on what we can in the name of a next generation GST and in the name of course corrections as the system requires when you have lived with this system for 8 years. In the process, you learn a lot of things which you want to reset. All that happened, and once again, a very big congratulations to the CBIC board and all the field formations for having delivered this country what can be remembered for the next 100 years as a next generation reform, and coming as it did, looking at the rates, looking at the tax slabs, looking at the process cleaning up, looking at making it easy for registrations, and looking at also the classification related issues. It has been one big sweep of comprehensive reform which has made GST, the next generation GST, a talk of every Indian. They may call it in their own words. Some may not say next generation, but say the work which has happened on GST is absolutely stunning. And it was done so quietly. We didn't have little indications given anywhere outside because we were not sure as to finally how big this would be, because every one of us were working on each one of our own aspects, some working on the process, some working to clear the doubts on inversion, a third looking at only classification, and so on. So I wouldn't want to take more time to pat on your shoulders, but the nation is seeing it, that when you're efficient, when you bring in a large-scale reform, it receives attention globally. And today, no newspaper in the world has missed out on this. There are repeat articles in some of the newspapers, even within a single day. The New York Times, for instance, carried 3 pieces of news in the New York City edition. And Chief Economic Advisor, who had gone to the US for the World Bank meet, sent me just one day 3 coverages on the GST reforms. It has had such kind of an impact globally. Well done. And am I here to say, oh, this much of sales has happened, you're saying, I'm saying, all of us are saying. But traders' body, the Confederation of All India Traders, CAIT, KAIT as they call it, has said retail sales hit an all-time high of 6.05 lakh crores this year. Festive season. This is about a 25% increase over the last year's Diwali sales, which was around 4.25 lakh crores. Of the total, about 5.40 lakh crores was spent on goods and 65,000 crores on services, making it the biggest Deepavali business in India's trading history. Equally importantly, this Swadeshi Deepavali saw an overwhelming preference for made in India products. Roughly 87% of all that customers choose or chose to buy by Indian made goods over imports. I'm not saying this. The KAIT's report says this. Beyond the revenue figures, what is heartening also is the positive sentiment and optimism which has been shown and reflected in the market. Traders' surveys showed confidence at a decade high, and with the Trader Confidence Index, which was at 8.6 over a scale of 10, and Consumer Confidence Index, which was at 8.4 over a scale of 10. So these are not milestones that you can achieve with just a small time, step forward or a process reform or just this or just that. because of the comprehensive nature of what we've done, the impact is all across. Sentiments are not just dependent on rate cuts, it's also dependent on how easy life is becoming with the GST. The festive boom also translated into direct benefits for the people. Estimated 50 lakh temporary jobs are being created. And that is during the Deepavali season in sectors like supply chain, retail staffing, delivery, and on transportation. The e-commerce space also recorded a 24% year-on-year growth in volumes, while the gross merchandise value, which is on sales, posted an increase of 23%. So what do all these numbers tell us? That our economic policies, including of the recent GST rate rationalization, is having a very strong, powerful, and meaningful impact on the economy. So in fact, about 72% of the traders surveyed by Kate credited the GST rate cuts on items like daily use products, footwear, home decor, consumer durables, and also as key factors for the higher sales this year. So the Bachat Utsav, as Prime Minister Modi launched it on the eve of our GST reforms coming into play on the 21st when he spoke in the evening, he said this will be double Diwali and this will be a Bachat Utsav. It is actually turning out to be that. So my message to CBI and all the CGST, these few things. The next missions, CBIC and CGST field formation should sight of the essence of the next generation reforms. We've brought the rates down, that's the end of the story. No, goes along with very, very many other things. So ease of registration process. The GST Council has approved to make the GST registration process a lot more simpler, easier, seamless, and also more transparent. And that is by design we want it like that. So technology and risk-based parameters must do the heavy lifting and not the taxpayer. We do not want anybody from the field formation adding one little more burden or onus on the taxpayer. Technology should be used. You do smart inquiring into the situation, and if necessary, the taxpayer may be approached for something. But no shifting of onus to him saying, give me more papers, give me this, give me that. Be clear, you should be smart. You should use technology. From 1st November 2025, the simplified GST registration scheme will grant automatic registration within 3 working days in 2 cases. One, applicants whom the system identifies based on data analysis, and those who self-assess that their output tax liability will not exceed 2.5 lakh rupees per month. So for these 2 categories, simplified GST registration will happen, and that will give them registration completed within 3 working days. This single reform is expected to benefit 96% of new applicants. So 96% will benefit from it. Task of the field formation is to operationalize it and ensure that there are no friction in the process. The GST Seva Kendra in this office and across India should be well staffed. I would particularly draw the attention of the board for that purpose, make it accessible and make it properly maintained so that taxpayers receive timely and quality assistance. There must also be a dedicated help desk for GST registrations to facilitate the taxpayer in the application process itself. Field units must conduct an internal audit of the functioning of the GST Seva Kendras and take action on the shortcomings faced by the taxpayers. The CP grants of the centralized public grievance redressal and monitoring system, I have a few things to say on that, and that's again for the field formations. CP Grams is a valuable interface between citizens and the government. Each grievance handled well reflects how responsible and how responsive and transparent the indirect tax administration is. It is indeed pleasant also that CBIC ranks on the top 5 out of 90 central ministries or departments in the CP Grams performance since February 2024. You don't seem to be happy, and I'm glad about that. You should actually be on the top. What 4th rank? So 4th rank among 90 different departments and ministries. You can aspire to be top rank. But of course that can be achieved only by conscious efforts. However, it is important not to lose momentum. Therefore, please make sure that the next destination is rank number 1. CGST field formations must also have dedicated teams within the zones to further expedite the resolution of grievances. Such teams within CGST zones should help identify recurring issues. You know, you're not reaching the top number 1 rank, not for anything which is, newly created problems. You're having recurring issues, you know they are recurring, you don't want to finish it once and for all. If a problem is recurring, you are sure to know what is the root cause. Can you not address the root cause? So I would think recurring problems, you should have a mapping system. Whichever zone has repeat problems occurring in the CP Grams or in any other complaints mode, you should just pull them up. If there are new problems, I can understand. How are you sitting over recurring problems? And that should be reported, I would say, to the field formations. Please report it to the board that there are recurring issues. We may want some assistance at some other level. So these actually will enable many more systemic corrections. I'll move on to disciplinary proceedings, where I have a few things to say again. Timely disciplinary action shows that the institution holds its own officers to high standards of professionalism and integrity. I may not talk about GST here. For a minute, if you give me the indulgence, I'll quote on some other. And the same CBIC, which has done so much good work, particularly in the next generation GST reforms. The board I'm talking about, not the GST side of it, had to be made to be quick in responding to one other issue which also came up. I'm not getting into details of it, but that quick, speedy response with which you have worked in the last 1 year in the GST arena will also have to be shown in the excise and the customs arena. That is for the board, not so much for the others belonging to the GST. So disciplinary proceedings against the officers at different levels in the CGST field formation must be concluded expeditiously in a time-bound manner and also within prescribed timelines given by the DOPT or the CBC. The swift conclusion of disciplinary proceedings reinforces accountability within the organization. It also clears up the perception that public have that there is a level of indifference or protectionism which prevails among officers that weakens your moral authority, and therefore it is important not to delay or procrastinate. It sends a clear message that misconduct, dereliction of duty, or unethical behavior will not be tolerated. I think it's very important, and we can't afford on this to be laid back. Prolonged proceedings, which I find very frequently to my irritation, prolonged proceedings unfairly affect the morale and reputation of the officers involved, particularly if they are innocent. For those wrongful wrongfully accused. Early closure brings relief and restoration of dignity. The motto for disciplinary matters therefore should be, गलत किया है तो खैर नहीं, सही किया तो कोई भैर नहीं. It's important for us to quality, fairness and speed matters in the investigations and enforcement. Pending CGST investigations must be closed expeditiously with quality orders and those that can stand scrutiny. So quality orders that are well reasoned, evidence-based and also proportionate reduces adverse judicial outcomes and cut down litigation costs. So therefore officials must be trained and encouraged to conduct quality investigations. Field units must focus on wrongful ITC claims, fake invoice rings, lien and data triangulation, and also use risk engines to prioritize cases with material revenue impact. A few messages on trade facilitation measures. It's critically important for the CGST field formations to proactively undertake trade facilitation measures at your own levels. You don't need somebody to tell you, you need to do this. This is the guidelines given. Action be taken. You don't need it. You're all thinking people in the ground. If you were to be the exporter or if you were to be the trader, what would you want the system to do? Is it difficult to imagine? There is not an iron wall between you and the trader. There's thin air. You can actually understand where the difficulty is. So try to solve it rather than muddy it up any further. They can provide actionable suggestions to the CBIC headquarters because they are at the front line